White woman, a white woman's in rain. That is from Bo Burnham's special on Netflix called Inside. Pretty sure he did in quarantine what all the rest of us creative people either wanted to do or thought we did. But he actually did it. It's really good. Check it out. I haven't been around for a while, and that is due to a few things. One is that I'm teaching myself how to edit. So if you liked the title sequence this time, let me know. And also, I had a bit of a dark night of the soul. Realized that my channel, as far as I've come so far, it's not what I set out to do, which is be my authentic self. So here I am, ready to talk in my authentic voice for real this time. Let's get into it. So I'm the kind of person that loves. I love, and you have to convince me otherwise, pretty much. Every human has beauty and value in my estimation. Even the shitty ones, even the ones that mess up, even the ones that do negative things to other people, they still have beauty and they still have value in my opinion. I'm infinitely interested in my fellow humans. Distractedly so, I would say. I try to respect people's perspectives, and even if they vary greatly from my own, I still feel it's important to respect people and where they're coming from, unless I'm in traffic. From a young age, I've always known that my capacity to love other people and to respect other people was unique, or at least that my commitment to loving and respecting people, regardless of the potentially negative outcome to myself, that at least is not common. In my early years, I had some repeated traumatic experiences, and I know. Take a number and get in line, sis. I know. But because of those negative repeated experiences, I somehow within that created a protective bubble around myself, like a force field. It was around my heart and my real thoughts, my real feelings, my real way of being, because back then, if I showed that, I got hurt all the time. I learned to just protect myself at all costs. That was a survival thing, and I think a lot of people have that I'm an empath, and or at least I identify closely with the characteristics of someone who is considered an empath, is a more clinical way of saying it, meaning I absorb the emotions of everyone around me. And there's debate on that, whether it comes from having a narcissistic parent or having someone close to you that is a taker. You just inherently have to be the giver. So I think you're born with it, like anything else, and then it's kind of cultivated throughout your life according to your life experiences. Because I'm an empath, I'm able to feel how people feel about me all the time, which is extremely daunting. Sometimes it's good because, it is good. It's a superpower because you know who your people are instantly. It's literally that you can feel their emotions as your own. So if you're feeling cagey or aggressive or, whatever, then chances are that's how they feel. Being so energetically open means that I just had to constantly, again, protect myself. If you couple that, all of those things that I've mentioned, with my parents splitting when I was 5 and me not really having, I never really saw a template for a relationship that worked until a lot later in my life. So voila, Lone Wolf Lola was born. And you know what? I'm totally okay with that. I think being alone teaches you a lot. You know that you can be alone and that that's okay. And it's actually really freeing when you are alone. So it never really bothered me until about a few weeks ago. And then I started thinking about a lot of different angles on that. I'm finally ready to find my real tribe at the risk of the odd angry villager, if that makes sense. And if loving people inherently makes me a queer person, which is by definition weird. So if I'm weird for the capacity to love people regardless of their outward physical appearance or body parts, then I would much rather find my other weirdos than be catering to just everyone at all times and protecting myself so ferociously, because that's kind of suicide, especially for someone like me who is a people person. I have painstakingly, very proudly, but also very painstakingly worked out a lot of my crossed wires through that process. And over the last few weeks, I just realized that I haven't been allowing myself to be who I really am to myself. Before I knew what the term pansexual was, I gravitated towards the idea that I was bisexual. It didn't really matter male or female, and I had formative experiences with both genders. Even though that was true, even though that's true for me, it's always been the person. And that would always be my caveat to any kind of hookup or any kind of anything. It would be like, that's the person, you know, and someone would call me out and be like, oh, so are you making out with, you know, a girl or whatever, you know, and I'm like, yeah, I had a connection with that person. That's all I need. So, you know, that's the closest term to the way that my normal mode of being is, but I'm really not a label person. It's probably why it took me so long to arrive at that type of terminology for myself. It's a spectrum, and some days I'm, you know, far more asexual, which is I don't really want sexual anything. I just want intimacy and connection and, you know, closeness. And sometimes I don't want any of it, you know. I am totally fine being self-partnered, as I mentioned before. It's been amazing, and it's been what I needed. I don't date. I'm not a huge date person. I already have a family, you know, so I don't have the normal dating stuff going on. I don't have the normal societal trial and error stuff. It's been me through my life and working through my issues. That's been my trial and error. But getting back to the term of being pansexual, the lilt of their laughter, it's the look in their eyes, their style, the way they carry themselves, the kindness that they show others, the conversations that we hold together, the truth and the honesty that they align with. Those are the things. Those are the things that will pique my interest and be like, what is that? You know? And that has nothing to do with gender, and it changes and grows as we do. And so that's an exciting thing to realize. So I know that, so if I feel so strongly, why have I never properly come out, right? So I was never really in. Those close to me know, and I've never made any bones about any experience I've had, any feeling I've had. There have been friends of mine that if they were the way I was, we would have had a relationship. I love you anyway, you know, like I still have a connection with you. And so that's okay that we're not romantic, because I'd rather have the close connection. Honestly, I didn't feel gay enough because I'm in kind of a gray area of not this way or this way. I didn't deserve to be part of the community. I didn't feel like I was important enough, or like I was, what I had to say or who I wasn't what the community is. And that's nuts to think that. If you're not 21 and sitting high on the hog of youth, then who cares, you know? But I care. And I think if you're doing something for any other reason besides for your own reasons, in my opinion, it's never going to be as fulfilling as when you do it for your reasons, for yourself, your growth, your evolution as a human being. I guess I never really felt like I had a place within myself. Like that force field that I created so long ago was keeping me away from myself too. It wasn't just keeping other people out. It's really tricky stuff, but it's not impossible to figure out. You just got to do the work. It's unbelievably worth it. And I don't have it all figured out. I don't have a guidebook. I'm not in no way a guru. I'm my own guru. And you can be your own too if you just commit to it. Commit to yourself more than anything else. As one of my favorite satirist minstrels would say, Randy Rainbow, let's cut the shit. Hi, I'm Lola. I'm queer. I'm here. It doesn't really matter if you're used to it or not. It's okay. Feels good to say that. But it feels even better to like feel it 100%. It's my intent that anyone watching this, that has similar feelings or qualms within, that you can move into a deeper love and a deeper understanding of yourself. And anyone that doubts your relevance or your importance or your worthiness, you deserve it. You deserve your truth. You deserve to be loved in all of your complexity, in all of your light and dark, in all of your contrast, in all of your levels, in all of your stages, just the way you are. We all deserve that. Goes without saying, happy Pride to all my people, all my cheers queers. And I think actually that's the term that I'm most comfortable with. It's queer, you know. I'm technically on the pansexual side of things. And on that note, I would submit, just philosophically speaking, that queer people are disenfranchised and are made to feel like, for whatever religious or societal structure that tries to make gay be wrong, I would just submit that if you took that part out of it, if you took any type of sexual anything out of the gay community, which I know it's for why would you do that? But if you did that, you would have the most interesting, creative, no shits given, stylish, been down a tough road and surmounted it for the most part, every day with a smile, joyous people. And I would never want to separate that, but for the people that can't, maybe that's why we're put in such a subservient place, is because we're kind of the leaders in a lot of ways, the trend makers, the hit makers. For your thoughts. And in the spirit of Pride, I wanted to give a shout out to some of the LGBTQIA plus, I think I said that right, the Alphabet Mafia plus, I don't know if that's an acceptable term, just some rad gay stuff. And you haven't checked them out, please do. So first one we have Eastsiders. It's a completely crowdsourced show. Like, they raise the money completely themselves. It's a beautiful story. You kind of feel that it is, a little lower budget in the first couple seasons, but it doesn't matter. The story just kind of grabs you and hooks you in. So that one's good. Below Her Mouth, which is a Canadian film, again about two beautiful, amazing young women that lock eyes and just know, and just kind of their story of just coming to terms with loving the person. And beautiful, won some awards, I believe, at the Toronto International Film Festival, I believe. Blue is the Warmest Color. That's a French film that's got some subtitles. I ain't afraid of no subtitles. I like it. Some people are not a fan, so there might be a dub option. More about loving the person and the traps that we fall into because we're afraid to love instead of any of the other stuff. Also, Girls Will Be Girls. The three lead characters are all men in drag, but they never address it. That's just part of the universe, which I think is really brilliant. It's a hilarious movie, campy AF, but drag is campy AF. So then, of course, it goes without saying, Schitt's Creek. That's I didn't want to believe the hype, and I watched the first episode, and I wasn't clicking with it. And then another queer friend was like, "Hey, just give it another try. It's amazing." And so I did, and sure enough, the lead character is pansexual. So, but again, in their world, it who cares? It doesn't matter. That's the goal, right? That's where we're headed, hopefully. Feel Good with Mae Martin, brilliant writer. I think the dialogue and the way that people relate to each other in that series is amazing. It helped me work through some of my shit. So just good stuff. Why Are You Like This? It's a really good Australian show. And it's kind of like within woke society, like how things can just go horribly wrong, and just relationships. It's three best friends and they just kind of muck about, and it's great. In the Fields, it's a movie, one of the first movies I saw dealt with things in a conversational way. Like, I just really prefer a world where none of it matters. Those are some of the movies, the series and movies that I absolutely love. As far as content creators, I love me some Mac Does It. I think he's hilarious. His hyper edits it's almost like an acid trip, but it's brilliant. I love what he has to say. I think Jade Fox is cool, wonderful style tips, and her sense of humor it kind of like It comes out of nowhere. So Jade Fox is cool. I think Jamie Dodger is amazing. He is a trans, I believe, F to M. And so I've learned a lot about, from a trans person, learned a lot about his story and, you know, just life for someone that's post-op trans, which is, I love learning about, you know, things that I don't know about. So Jamie Dodger, check them out. And there's this really amazing series called Style Like You that highlights people everywhere on the spectrum, but mainly people who are, you know, weirdos. It's like weirdo people that, you know, when they walk down the street, everybody's like, those are definitely my people. I'm one of those people. You know, let me know what are you guys into? What are your favorites? What you're jamming to these days? So it feels good, and I want to thank you. I want to thank you for being here and for listening to what I have to say. And, you know, it's straight from my heart, and I hope everyone has the feeling that they belong at some point in their life, if not their whole life. I mean, that would be the best scenario. But if you don't have it now, I hope that you find it. Last but in no way least, all of the people who came before me, who came before, you know, my generation, and from, you know, the beginning, that laid down their lives, that fought in the AIDS epidemic, that, you know, every queer person of every gender, every color, every queer person that's come before me that made this the next logical step for me instead of a far off dream, I can't thank you enough. And that's why I'd like to keep that cycle going and hopefully inspire others, no matter their age, no matter their situation, to just be who they are. Find their tribe at risk of an angry villager. They can suck it. So I guess that's all for now. And I'll be posting, put some links in the thing. And if you want to click the thing, the other thing, the thing, you will get the stuff when you hear it, you know, and you scroll and you find it. And we'll go from there. So thanks for being here. I'll catch you on the flip.